Welcome to this episode where I'm going to be sharing something a little bit more personal today. And this is some of the long-lasting, the lessons, the takeaways, but just the whole experience of having my mum here in Bali for 2 weeks. She came out at the start of November and it was just less than 2 weeks. It was 12 days here in what I call home now, with me showing her around the island, booking all these trips, experiences, being the live-in tour guide who knew all of the places to go. I'd planned our whole itinerary and I want to just share some of the more personal lessons and just experiences behind the scenes feelings around this because you can scroll down my feed. If you want more of the business lessons and practical things I did to prepare for this, you can go find it. It's in my content. It's called Things That I Did or How I Prepared for My Mum Coming to Bali for 2 weeks. So there's a carousel post, off you go. This is more about the personal side of things because one of the personal motivators for me, right from the beginning of my business and still to this day, is to provide experiences for my family that they've never had before. And so that just, can you hear that I'm smiling? I love this. And I created a reel after she left of just a short selection of some of the experiences that we had while she was here. And I often go back and watch that reel and it just makes me beam with joy. And I know that she's shown it to a lot of people that she knows as well. She's just showing it to people constantly. And it's just I can't even explain how happy, how proud of myself and her I am. And so I wanted to just do a bit of an unscripted podcast to share with you what that's like. Because someone said to me, Sarah, what you've been able to do with your mom is a goal of many, many people. And I was just like, oh my God, it was nice for that person to share that with me because it reminded me of this was always my goal setting out. And so I wanted to just share some more personal lessons with you. Because what I will also say is I know you guys loved seeing the content with me and Mum. My story views for the time that she was here were just off the charts. People just wanted to know what me and Mum were up to on any given day. And so just before she was coming out, we talked about her coming to Bali at some point. Earlier in the year, I was in Thailand, which is somewhere that she'd really wanted to go. But she hadn't really felt comfortable traveling as a lone female. She's never done a lone trip before. So coming to the other side of the world, was a really big thing. And so I wanted to meet her somewhere initially that she could have a bit of a solo trip and solo travel and see places, but that I would be there as well. So initially she was going to come and meet me in Thailand, but it just wasn't the right time. She moved house earlier on in the year, so she'd got all of the moving house stuff to pay for. So she was just like, Sarah, now isn't the right time for me to come meet you in Thailand. And also that I was coming back to the UK shortly after that. So she was like, I'm not going to come meet you the other side of the world. You'll be home in a month. I was like, yep, fair point. And so, but later on in the year, I could feel that she hadn't had a holiday in a while. And I was like, Mum, what about Bali? I really, really love being able to show people around the island. I had a friend come out in January and just spend a week here. And being able to share this incredible place with people and having spent as much time as I have here now, which by the way, it's 14 months. 14 months. I came out thinking it would be a 2-month trip and we're here 14 months later. I blinked and it's been a year and almost a quarter. What happened? But I really, really love now being able to share this beautiful place, the island of the gods, with other people. And so Mum had been talking about it and I was just like, whenever you're ready, Mum, I can move things around. It's absolutely fine. Come whenever you want. And I think there was something that happened at her work because it went from at some point to Sarah, I'm coming and I'm coming in 3 weeks. I was like, oh, okay, let's crack on. So I dived into planning because I knew she was only here it was just less than 2 weeks. It was 12 days. And so I am quite a planner when it comes to experiences. I live for experiences. You know, love language. Like, I don't really care for gifts. I care for experiences. And so when I knew my mum was coming to Bali, I dived into planning, like meticulous planning. I had an itinerary, I had a spreadsheet. It was color-coded by day and place with activities, morning, noon and night. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. It was bloody great. Happy to share it with you. If you need a tour guide recommendations for Bali, I'm your girl. So I'd got this color-coded spreadsheet and I listed down like the places I wanted to take her, where was reasonable, because Bali's still a big place. It can take you a while to get from place 1 to place 2, especially if there's traffic on the road. So I'd listed out like the places I wanted to take her to, and within those places, either restaurants I wanted us to go to or things that I knew that she'd love. I wanted a mixture of both jungle and sea and beach and stuff that was more built up versus stuff that was more chill. So I really wanted like a broad experience of Bali. And so I planned this itinerary, like some with more, some really chill or like the best of simple Bali, whilst also the best of luxury Bali. Bali is a very I don't know what the right word is, but diverse, I guess, in the experiences that you can have. Like, you can live, if you want to spend, there is easily London level prices here. Equally, if you want to save, there are some beautifully simple places, like beautiful food, beaches, places to visit. And so you can really live on all different budgets here. So I wanted to incorporate all of that and give her some cultural experiences. I knew she wanted to check out some temples. I knew she wanted to see some animals and wildlife, see some nature. And so all of this. So I'd planned this incredible trip. I knew it was going to be a big deal for her. She's not someone that really enjoys flying or sleeps very well on flights. So I knew she was going to be shattered when she got here. So I allowed her like 2 days to ease in before it was just like all systems go. But before we dive into how the actual trip was, I want to say how excited I was for her to arrive. Obviously, she was excited. And even if I hadn't planned anything, because I was like, Mum, I've planned all these things. And she's just like, awesome, Sarah, but I'm just excited to see you. So, of course, she was excited for the trip. But I was really excited because this was us being able to share something that I've never had that experience. When I was backpacking and I was traveling around the world, for a good part of it, I was with my best friend. And when my best friend, she had to fly home for a family wedding. And so I did do a portion of the trip completely solo. And my mum actually came out to meet us while we were in Australia. And so my mum has flown before to meet me on the other side of the world. But it's very different when she was flying then and we were staying with family in Sydney. And at that point, it was great because she was coming to share this experience, but it was her flying to meet me on my trip. And also, I'll put my hands up and say, I was very much still trying to figure out who I was and what I was looking for. I wasn't lost by any means, but I knew I was very much in this transitionary period of knowing that I didn't want to go back to the workforce or corporate or the office that I knew, but I didn't yet know what the future looked like. So there was a lot of questions, a lot of trying to figure things out. At this point, I was listening to a lot of podcasts. I was making a lot of notes. I was going to like free masterclasses and all the work. So she came out to Australia and spent, I think about 2-3 weeks. And probably quite a lot of that would have been me trying to figure my own shit out. And what it also meant is that it wasn't all smooth sailing. I'd just spent 6 months with my bestie going around South America, just doing whatever we wanted, whenever we wanted, complete independence. So to then have your mum come out, I think I was a little bit of a brat, a little bit. I'm not proud of it, but I was a little bit short and snappy. Yeah, not something I'm proud of. I have since apologised many, many times. but I'd just been doing my own thing for such a long time that suddenly having my mum's opinion around was a little bit short-tempered, possibly. But anyway, we'll gloss over that. So now this experience where business has humbled me, softened me, but also toughened me in a lot of ways. Business has been it's been the best personal development thing I've ever done for myself. I'm so much more self-aware. I question well, but I'm very aware and very knowledgeable at the same time. Like, I'm so glad that I started a business. And my mum is my person. She is the one that I go to. She is my business mentor. Even though she's not run her own business, she's helped grow the business that she's working for, all the different departments within that business. So she's a very knowledgeable woman. So she is my mentor before I even started a business. And my homegirl. She's my bestie. So when it came to even just talking about her coming to meet me here, and me knowing, God, I'm not a backpacker just trying to figure shit out now. I am a fully fledged business owner. I've built this thing. She's incredibly proud of me. I'm incredibly proud of me. And now this experience isn't going to be, me living on a shoestring budget, trying to figure out what the fuck I'm doing with my life. This is now, Mum, look what I've built, and I get to share this with you. And that was just, such an incredible feeling. I was super excited. Even now, super, super reflective, grateful. And so if you're someone that's listening to this and it's a dream of yours to be able to share things with family that they've never experienced, provide things in a way that either you'd never experienced or they've never experienced, or if that's a key motivator for you, like, keep listening, because this is still a massive driver for me. And the next thing would be, I would love to take my whole family on holiday somewhere. I don't know where, I don't know what this looks like, but just being able to provide incredible experiences is something that just absolutely lights me up. So yes, family, if you're listening to this, you're not getting Christmas presents. I'm not your gifts girl, apologies, but you'll have a really nice holiday next year. And so Mum is coming through the airport. We do the whole running through the airport, just, hugs, love, kisses, just, it was like Hallmark, what is it? Hallmark movie. And so initially bring her back to Canggu, which is where I'm based. We spend a couple of days here just allowing her to acclimatise, but the woman didn't need much acclimatising. She was up and ready to go earlier than I was. And so we had a couple of days here. I think on day one, we just took a walk down the beach and then went to a spa. Bali is the most incredible place where you can have someone giving you a hand massage and manicure at the same time as someone who is giving you a foot and calf massage. I cannot explain to you how wonderful it is to have two people working on you at the same time. Like bliss. Heaven is a place where two people are working on you at the same time. Wonderful. Anyway, getting distracted. So I think it was the second day or third day, but anyway, we hopped on my bike. That's a stressful experience. Riding a bike in Bali on any given day is one thing. That's a level of stress in itself. It is a risk that you choose to take if you ride a moped in Bali. To have your mother on the back of a bike is... I can willingly take my life in my hands, but to have my most precious person in the world also on my bike, I was like, oh my God, the stakes are so high. I need to keep this woman alive for 2 weeks. And it's not about my driving. I'm a very good driver. What can be said for everybody else on the roads? Oh my God, some of the drivers in Bali. Good God. High stress levels. Anyway, So yes, we went to an island called Lembongan where we had 2 or 3 nights. Lembongan is super chill island life. It's not like the busyness of Canggu. It's like single track roads. There's no cars. It's just little mopeds. It's dirt roads. There might as well not be any clocks on the island because there's no rush to do anything. You can just float between, do I want to go to the pool? Do I want to chill? Do I want to nap in a hammock? Is it light? Is it dark? Like, what do we want to do? You can just float through time and space on Lembongan. It is just exquisite. Oh, it's a beautiful place. So we stayed there for a little bit and then we came up to Ubud, which is inland in Bali, and so it's much more it's raised up in the mountains a little bit more, so it's a lot more jungle, a little bit cooler, which was good because we'd cooked ourselves on the islands. And here where we did a bit more cultural stuff, we went to the temple, we did like a water purification ceremony. And my mum loved this, absolutely loved it. And what I didn't know is that there was a photographer who was taking our photos whilst we were he did an offering before going into the water purification ceremony. And so there was someone taking our photos who later would show me the photos and I was like, oh my God, they're amazing. So of course I bought them off him. So marketing well done. Yes, I want what you're selling me. Anyway, so we did that. Where else? We went to the monkey forest. We went to some incredible restaurants and then came down to Uluwatu, which is a lot more like beautiful beach, beautiful sunsets, and just, we love Uluwatu. I'm going really deep into like the bits that we got up to. Oh my God, let me tell you about scuba diving. This is something that when I first learned to scuba dive, and I learned because, even though it had been on my bucket list for ages, I learned because of the friend who was coming out to meet me in Bali. Oh, this was actually the first time, 2019. She was coming to meet me and I knew that she'd got her advanced and it was something that I wanted to do. So when you've got a friend coming to meet you that can already dive, it was a motivation for me to go and get my certification so that I could go down with her. And I remember my first ever dive, which was in Bali, and we were swimming underwater. We'd done all the theory and the pool checks and then some shallow water where we'd seen some schools of fish and cool things. But our first sea dive at depth, I was swimming along and I could see like a big shadow in the distance. And as we were getting closer, this whole wall of the most beautiful coral, what felt like floor to ceiling, just emerged from the distance. And if you could imagine being in the set of A Little Mermaid, picturing yourself as a mermaid and swimming up to this thing and just seeing, imagine swimming up to the side of the Titanic and it's all covered in coral and underwater flowers basically. And there's all these schools of fish, and imagine just whole like Nemos and this swimming over here and that swimming over here, and just this whole eco life living on the side of this wall that is completely submerged, and you can't even tell from water level that there's an entire intact ship just underneath water level. You can't see it from the shore. And so I was swimming up to this thing and I was like, oh my God, because the only way that I can describe it is discovering a new planet and realizing that most people in the world will never discover that planet. And not only are you taking something in and just discovering this new planet, but that you have to be silent and just absorb it because you've got something in your mouth that requires you to breathe. So you can't go into the whole, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. Well, you can try, but it's not going to get you very far because you still need to breathe through your mouth. And so you just have to be silent and just take it all in. Oh, it is the most, scuba diving is the most incredible experience. And that first dive for me was absolutely out of this world. And so when Mum was here, obviously I'd planned all these things that I wanted to do with her. I wanted to do the sunrise hike where you climb a mountain and you're up at the top of the mountain for sunrise. So you climb it. The actual climb is in the pitch black. and it's steep as well. So I'd wanted to do that. I obviously wanted to take her to some incredible places or some cliff top restaurants. But when she was here, I was like, Mum, how do you feel about scuba diving? And because my mum, she's the opposite of me. I think the reason I am the way I am is because my mum is the way that she is. So when you see me as wild, adventurous, goes for things without knowing all of the facts, ballsy, says exactly what she thinks, and is very unapologetic, my mum is not like that at all. My mum, God love her, is the complete opposite, and this is why I am the way I am. So she is someone that likes to know all the facts and figures before diving into anything, is a planner, is the person that likes to think before she speaks, likes to know everything before making decisions. And so when it came to, I was like, Mum, how do you feel about scuba diving? Because this is the other part, is that when she's with me, I'm almost like her hall pass to be fun, reckless and stupid. And this is what I absolutely love, because I get to be the person that gets to see my mum return to like a little girl. And it is the most precious thing I have ever seen. And this is why you can hear me smiling, because I, multiple times during this holiday, got to see my mum become a little girl and see the wonder in her eyes and the smile and the joy and the playfulness and the giddy laughter of just doing things because she can. Because for a lot of her life, she's not. Either because somebody else didn't agree with it, or somebody else didn't want to, or somebody told her it wasn't a good idea, or any number of reasons. But because my mum has always put other people before herself. So when she's with me, who I'm always going to say yes to fun decisions, and I'm also going to prioritise myself because I'm all for self-care. So she knows that when she's with me, she's going to get to do whatever she wants, because I'm going to be like, well, do you want to do that? Okay, well, let's go do it. And it's going to be fun. It's probably going to be adventurous. Probably going to get your heart racing. And so when I'd said, do you want to go scuba diving? She looked and initially was just like, well, it is on my list, but I don't really know when else I would get to do something like that. And I was like, well, why don't we do it while you're here? And she's like, can we? And I'm like, yes, Mum, yes, we can. So, of course, I hopped onto it. A couple of texts and WhatsApp messages later, I've organised us a discovery dive with a school in Lembongan, which was the first place we were going to, because beautiful islands over there. I knew the water would be super clear. No trash in the water, which is, you can't say that for Canggu, unfortunately. But the water over on the islands is absolutely stunning. So is the coral life. And so I set up this scuba dive, and thankfully we did the little bit in the water first, where they do some of the safety testing to run you through how everything works in a swimming pool first, so that you can kind of get used to everything before going to open ocean, because it's a lot to remember. And obviously your body systems, if you've not done scuba diving before, everything in your adrenal system is like, abort, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? Your whole body is trying to kick when, the instructor's like, go down. Your mind is like, hell no, that's just how I drown. No. Which is a total normal reaction. So you have to be able to calm yourself down and talk logic to yourself, even when your brain and adrenal system is going haywire. So we did all the safety testing in the pool the day before, and then we went out on the boat. And oh my God, like initially my mum had a bit of a freak out, as is natural. This is a 57-year-old woman doing something for the first time that is scary. It's a big deal. This is scary for people who are young, trying to overcome fears and get used to something that does not feel natural initially. It takes a bit of practice to feel natural. If you're someone that took to scuba diving straight away, I applaud you. Even me as a strong swimmer, my system was like, what the hell are we doing? And even on the first bit of any first dive, it takes me a little while to calm down, and not be like, oh my God, what are we doing? So anyway, my mum had a little bit of a freak out, but the instructor was wonderful. Also, get this, we had an all-female scuba diving team. That has never happened to me. I've dived about, I would guess, about 15 times, 16 maybe, somewhere around there. And it's always been men. Like maybe there'll be one woman on board in terms of like instructors or buddies. Never many. And on this day, it was an all-female team. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. Like, captain was female. My mom had a buddy. I had a buddy. It was just an all-female team, and I absolutely loved it. So my mom's buddy and the instructor was able to calm her down and go down with her whilst I had my own buddy. And we dived around there where it's a place called Crystal Bay because it's beautiful crystal blue water. And so I got to be on her first dive with her as she's seeing all these schools of fish, and there's just so many different types and there's so much coral to look at. And so they bring you up on the boat after the first dive, so you get a little bit of breathing and recovery time as we were going over to Manta Point. This is the other thing, is I'd really been praying that we'd get to go to Manta Point. And when they said on the day, yep, conditions are looking good, we're going to go to Manta Point, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. But even then, there's no guarantee that you're going to see manta rays. But I was like, imagine if this happened. And so we dive on the first site, we come up, we're back on the boat, and Mom is like, her mind is already blown. Like, this woman, she's just like, oh my God, it's like a whole new world down there. And I was like, I know, Mom. And I got to experience the joy and discovery, all of the things that I had experienced on my first dive, I'm now sharing with her. And just the light in her eyes, the way she was so lit up, and just like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And this, and this, and this. She just thought the whole thing was magic. Amazing. And then we get to Manta Point, where instructors telling us, right, we're now at this point of the island, there's no bay to break the waves. So it's open ocean here, which means that the water is a lot murkier here. It's not as clear a water. It's a little bit harder to see. It's also a lot colder. It's not as warm. It's not as clear. And so we go down, and I'll be honest, I don't particularly love diving in murky water. I like to be able to see what's coming from a distance. So we're going down, and it's noticeably colder and noticeably murkier. And there's a lot of other dive schools as well. So you might be able to see a shadow in the distance, and you're trying to think, what is that shadow? Is that a manta ray that's coming towards me? Is it something else, or is it just another diver? Yeah, I know. Anyway, and so we're just hovering around, we're swimming around in and out of this coral reef as the instructor looks up and sort of signals up, and we turn around and you can just see this shadow coming out of the distance, the wingspan of this, and these things are huge, like 2 meters across, absolutely huge, just gliding over, nice and slow, thank the Lord, just gliding like, I don't know, floating massive butterflies, angels of the sea, just huge wings. And we were by this coral reef where it was coming to feed, so it swam over the coral reef, and then they were moving for a little bit, but I was like, guys, it's coming back. And it did a 180 spin, just slowly turned around as it came back over, and we all just stayed sat, and this giant manta swam literally over our heads. I'm talking maybe like 1.5 meters over our heads, and this thing is huge. But they're just really unbothered because they eat only the small algae. So they're just gliding over the coral reef so you can get super close without touching them. And this thing just glided straight over our heads and then slowly off into the distance. And on that same trip, we saw maybe like 3, 4, like possibly 5 different manta rays. And it was out of this world. And it was shortly after the manta ray had gone over, I swam up close to Mum, and I just reached out and held her hand as we were watching it go off in the distance, because obviously you can't talk, you can't really say anything. And I just held my mum's hand, and I just felt her squeeze my hand. I squeezed back, And it was the most magical thing. And when we came up to the boat after, she was silent after that trip because she was just taking it all in. She was just like, I'm absolutely mind blown. But after, she said, when we were down there, to experience that, which is a once in a lifetime thing, like most people will never experience in their life, but to do it with you and to have you reach out and hold my hand as we're sat on the bottom of the ocean floor with a giant manta going over our head, she was like, I'll never ever forget that. And I was like, oh my God, Mum. And so, I wanted to share that because that is a memory that I will take with me till the day I die. Being sat on the ocean floor, holding my mom's hand, giving her a little squeeze on her hand as we just watch a giant manta swim off into the distance that's just flown over our heads. Like, mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. So we did other cool stuff. We did like a sunrise hike. That was something else that she'd said, if you had told me some of the stuff that we've done on this holiday, I never would have believed you. But even some of the most beautiful moments weren't the big things. Obviously we've got the scuba diving and the sunrise hike and this stuff and that stuff. But some of the really incredible moments were even just riding on the bike. Because she would just be on the back of my bike. And I knew that was really good therapeutic time for her. Like, you've probably heard me say before, riding a bike in Bali is the therapy that most people in the West don't know about. When I tell you that I looked into, what's the app? Better Health? Better Mind? I can't remember. There's a mental health app that during lockdown, I was like, okay, I've reached a point where I want to talk to someone now. Like, I'm losing it. I was struggling. It was really, really hard. If you're listening to this and you were in Bali in lockdown, like, this bit is not for you. If you were in the UK during lockdown, or Australia, or anywhere else that had really tough, strict lockdown rules, you guys will get this. I found lockdown, God, very hard and very long. And I remember looking into services to talk to someone because I was like, I'm not okay. I'm not. I've lost my personality. I'm just not who I know myself to be. And so I was looking into the counselling services and getting a psychologist or therapist that you could check in with every week. Do you know how expensive those services are? I was like, wow, you can't even afford to have mental health in the UK because this is ridiculous. And yet, hop me on a bike in Asia, solved. Between vitamin D and independence and freedom of being on a bike, honestly, guys, you don't need mental health therapy. You need flight tickets, sunshine, and a moped. I'm not massively reducing anyone that does genuinely need mental health services, by the way, caveat. But what I am saying is most of the West are vitamin D deficient. And a moped ride through Asia would solve a lot of problems for a lot of people. And so being able to just ride between places with mum on the back, and she'd be silent. Sometimes we'd be having a conversation, but for a lot of it, she'd just be silent and taking in the rice fields and the palm trees and the sunshine and the villages that we drove through, just silently taking it all in and processing it all. And that was so beautiful just to sort of be present with her as she was, because I get to see that stuff quite a lot and it's beautiful for me all the time when I see it. So to share it with her, I know that it's a very thought-provoking, like it really gets you thinking about life, like what's important, bigger picture stuff, where are you going, what are you doing, like what is the meaning to life, what brings you joy. And so there's times then, especially if we just on a long drive, where we'd be sat at dinner and it would bring up such thought-provoking conversation that is time that she'd been able to have because of being on the back of a bike or, wherever we'd just been, where she'd just been allowed to think. No phone, no screen, no work demands, no checking her email, and just be. And so that's one of the other things that I'm really grateful for, because God love my mom, but she works far too hard, is I was able to give her not just these incredible experiences that were once in a lifetime trips, I was also able to give her moments of calm and peace and quiet that she doesn't have. And that was also a massive blessing. That was probably one of the things that she'll talk about as a standout moment from the trip, is how many breakthroughs and realizations that she had as a result of the moments of peace, quiet, calm, and just thinking time and space that she was able to have throughout this trip. And so, for all the beautiful meals that we had, the beautiful places, the beautiful experiences that we had and we shared, some of the most groundbreaking stuff, by the end of the trip, we were swimming in the sea, and she was just like, Sarah, I'm going to make changes in my life because of this trip. And I was like, go on, man. Come on, talk me through them. And it was all such, I love it. Because I will always say to her, Mum, you work too hard. Mum, you need to cut down your hours. Mum, you need to get better sleep. Mum, you need to care less about work. Mum, you need to prioritise yourself. But it wasn't until she'd had this trip and experienced what it is to have all of those things that she was like, I'm going to cut down my hours. I am going to take more time for me. I'm going to do another working from home day. I am going to start, saving for this or investing in this or doing X, Y, Z. And there were so many beautiful breakthroughs and realizations she had because of this trip. And so I realised that I'm like, oh my God, I'm just giving you my entire life story at this point. But I really want to share this for the person who wants to share beautiful experiences with their family, whether it's your family, whether it's your friends. Like, this trip changed my life and changed my mom's life. And that was just 2 weeks. It was the first time that I'd met my mom anywhere abroad. But it was such an eye-opening experience. And to be able to do that and still run the business. I didn't have a huge amount on in terms of calls or things that I needed to move around. So I was still able to be present on my group call. I was still able to be present for my membership. I still attended all my mastermind calls. I had a few one-to-ones. So I was still able to structure the business around everything that we were doing. I was still able to bring in clients, grow the free community, still able to post, still be very present on stories and posting on the grid. I'd still got stuff automated going out. So the business was still ticking over whilst we were having these incredible experiences, life-changing experiences that we will both remember for the rest of our life. And so if you're someone that's just like, I want to be able to share this, have this as your motivation. Whether it's getting up the systems, whether it's getting in some automations, whether it's just eyeing up where is somewhere where you would either like to take family or experience with family, like eye that place up and just go for it. Maybe you're someone that hasn't traveled with the business yet and you're like, oh my God, this is such a big motivator for me to go and to do it. I'm so grateful that I had some time in Bali before her coming out, so I knew all the best places to go to make it just an incredible trip. But even if I went and met her somewhere where I wasn't familiar, I would still probably build an itinerary anyway, because I'm just like that. But yes, or you're someone that has already been traveling or moving around a bit or doing the digital nomad lifestyle, and you just want to book incredible things and share them with your family. Like, go do the thing. Don't wait. Don't put it off. Don't wait until next year or next 5 years. Go. Go, go, go. Do it. I really hope that you've enjoyed this episode. I know it's been a bit of all over, a lot of personal stories, but I just wanted to inspire you a little bit with what that was really like to feel as not just a business owner, but as a daughter. That was one of the highlights of my entire year. High up there. I'd say my main Character of Energy event was a peak of my year, but getting to experience Bali with my mum was something that isn't just a peak of this year. That was a peak life memory made. And so bringing this all to a close, I hope that you've enjoyed this. If you have, send me a message on Insta, Sarah Buckland Coaching, and I can't wait until the next trip, whenever that is, being able to share, whether it's with my mum, whether it's with my whole family, my little nephew. I don't know what that looks like. I'll be back in the UK in middle of May next year for a little bit over the summer. So we shall see. I don't know what the future holds, but I hope this has inspired you a little bit, and just to hug your loved ones a little bit closer. You know, you never know how long we've got on this earth. And so it's really important to just hug your loved ones and really live in the moment. This is why you see me doing like crazy shit all the time. And it's why I prioritize every single day. Yes, I build for the long term. Yes, I plan for the future. Yes, I build the brand, planning for the long term. But hell, I live in the short term. I live each day. This is why I go drumming. This is why I go pole dancing. This is why I really just want to maximize the special time that I have with my special people, is that you don't know how much time we have on this earth. And I can honestly say that if something took me tomorrow and my time on this earth was done, I can hand on heart say I've had an incredible time and already done everything more than I ever wanted. Yes, I've got massive dreams now, but I could hand on heart say if my time on this earth was done, I wouldn't have any regrets. I wouldn't be one of those older people or younger saying, I wish I'd done X, I wish I'd done this. There'll be no I wishing. I do everything that I want. That is a fucking blessing. That is a blessing. So go prioritize yourself. Go after your dreams like there is no tomorrow. And that is what I want to end this episode on. Go after your dreams like there's no tomorrow. Go for it. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, send me a message and I'll speak to you soon. Big love, squad.